Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna.
So like I wanted to know what exactly is spirituality. Is it something like wellness, mindfulness, knowing who's God, crystals, like so many forms of spirituality exist in today's modern spirituality, but what exactly are we trying to establish?
Yeah. Well, I think if we start defining based on the English terms, it's going to be ending nowhere. So the Sanskrit original term is Adhyatma. And this is something about Atma, the study of or the exploration of who one is or what one is. And in the core of this subject matter is reality, right? What is reality? So if you think from that perspective, the only reality for anybody is that they exist. So many philosophers have tried to explore this subject matter in the past as well. And the Upanishads, Gita, they principally deal with this subject of reality, which is beyond seemingly ever changing, constantly adapting nature in which we live, the kind of a body we possess, which keeps changing. Krishna keeps reminding us in Gita that this is very temporary, this is not really eternal, while who we are eternal. There's an example in Gita that just like any person for that matter is a small baby in the beginning, eventually grows up, becomes a boy or a girl, based on the gender, eventually are in their youth and are going to old age and they die. So this journey sort of is common. But what's interesting is that if you have seen your own picture maybe 20 years ago, you sort of have an idea that this is you. While in the present, none of your current reality matches with that body. Right? Even as per science, everything changes even in the body, even on the cellular level, things change. Cells die, new cells are born. So body is constantly changing. Krishna says in another place in Gita, just like one changes the dress. Today I'm wearing red with a white shawl and white dhoti. Tomorrow I may wear a blue kurta. So, but that doesn't mean that I have changed. It's just that the dress is changing. So similarly, Krishna says when this body is done, it's used. Atma, who is there, is going to change. So that's the principal exploration idea of the Upanishads, and Gita is an Upanishad. It's called as Gita Upanishad. Is the exploration of who we are in reality. I always keep telling about a thought process, a sort of intriguing ideology about what we know. A person, let's say someone is a chemical engineer, they know how certain chemical reactions take place, how to perhaps combine two different molecules to create a different one. But if we go and ask that person about neurology, for example, that person may tell that, no, sorry, I don't know, right? So in your field, for example, finance, if someone comes and asks you about physics or deep mathematics or something like that, you know that you don't know it. So there is a sphere of I know what I know, and there is a bigger sphere of I know what I don't know. We know that our knowledge is limited. I know a little bit about this specific field of expertise which we have, and there is a bigger field which we know that we don't know. And this even bigger sphere, which is like infinite sphere, which I don't even know that I don't know. So Adhyatma sort of falls into that category, but we can't start with questioning what I don't know that I don't know. We can't start there. You start asking question there, perhaps you will end up nowhere because you don't even know that you don't know. So then the reality then becomes like, so where do we start? So we start with what we know for sure, that we exist, right? So there is like this ancient philosophy, right? Like, I think, therefore I am. So you are able to think that you are there. So that's the reality. That's the only reality which you know for sure. Everything else is a perception, right? So now the question then starts, so who am I then? Is this whole the thinking, feeling, willing which is there in my existence, is it just a chemical reaction which is happening in the body? Is it just because of a particular order of the DNAs and RNAs and the genetics and everything? Is it just that, or if there is something beyond the material composition of the body? And at least the Vedic view is that there is something which is above and beyond the body, which is right now is staying or living in this body. So Atma is that concept. Now Yoga Shastras tell the way you understand Atma is that you need to start understanding what is not Atma. So body, for example, is temporary. This is not eternal. So it's very easy to understand this cannot be myself. Because it's changing, I'm not changing. When the body is dead, it continues to live. Right? So I can't be this body. So you remove that part then. So body, I am not this body. That's the primary first step of Vedic education, basically, that you're not this body. Body is a combination of matter made up with 5 elements: earth, water, fire, ether, the Pancha Mahabhutas. And then we go a level deeper then. Are you your mind? Right? And then you can understand that no, even that is something which I can control. Right? So the principal you must be then above and beyond mind, because you can control the mind. It's like an instrument which is there with you. And like, let's say you have a phone. Are you your phone? No, you're not. Right? The phone is outside. You own the phone. Or let's say a car is a better example. You're sitting in the car. Are you the car? No. Are you the person who is within the car? Yes. Are you the one who is driving the car? Yes. But are you the car? No. You own the car. Right? So like that we go a level deeper. So are you the mind? But then when you understand that no, this is a separate entity, I can actually utilize it. Right? So then you can't be that then. And technically that the way mind is controlled is through buddhi, is loosely translated as the intellect, the rational intelligence. And then the question is, are you that then? Right? So then you understand, no, I actually have rational intelligence. Right? So even in the normal talking, the way you use is like my intelligence. So whose intelligence then? Right? So if you would be the intelligence, you would tell I intelligence. And what we tell like my intelligence, which means there has to be something which is belonging to me still. And then the whole question of my comes. Right? Yeah. I and mine. And that in Sanskrit is called as ahamkara, ego. Right? So that's where this whole concept of I is coming from, or my is coming from. So that's another layer. And as you progress in Adhyatma, you understand, oh, I'm not the ego also. I need to get away from it. This whole concept of I and mine, I need to get away. And then you're asked or you're confronted with this question, so who are you then? Because all this which is not you are out now. Whatever is remaining then is you. Right? So it's a deep concept. This is not something which is very easily grasped. The beauty is that in that plane of existence, when somebody reaches there, at least the Upanishads, the Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they give at least some scenarios wherein how these people who have reached that level, how do they function? Because there is no ego anymore. Imagine there is a community of people who are living, there's no ego. Nobody feels like I and mine. So when the person feels in that level, they are beyond the entirety of the scope of matter. They are away from the scope of matter. They are transcendental to the scope of matter, which means they don't really feel on a very physical level heat and cold. And this is not really affecting them anymore. Krishna says this every time in Gita, just to make it very practical, because Krishna could have said sama dukkha sukha. Then one may tell that, I'm very equipoised. I always, I just don't feel this happiness, distress, and I'm always equipoised. Just to make it very practical on a physical level, Krishna puts Shita Ushna also. So somebody who has actually reached that level, they will be transcendental even to the heat and cold, because that's just duality of matter. It has nothing to do with the soul. One of the characteristics of the soul is that it is not burned. Last week there was a huge temperature in Netherlands. I was really, my brain was really, it was heated up and I couldn't really function well. And I was thinking that, I'm so conditioned, right? And I just like so conditioned. If it is too cold, I get affected. If it's too warm, I get affected. Because I am right now in touch with matter. Right? It's called a sparsha. So Krishna says in Gita, Matra sparsha stu kaunteya. Because of this sparsha, because of this touch which I have with matter, I will be affected with the duality of the matter. And I need to transcend the duality. Yeah. That's when the question arises, so who am I then? Who is it then? What is it then? Or what is me really? But there is no question of I. Right? So you want to transcend the question of I. So then that's Adhyatma. Yeah. So in Sanskrit, that's what it is. In English, it's loosely translated as spirituality. We can tell that, it's a study of spirit, but it's difficult to build. In Sanskrit, when you say it, there is a root word you can understand based on the root word how to develop the concept. But in English, it's a bit difficult concept because, how do you people can just start giving interpretations then. But in Sanskrit, that's what it is. Okay. Hare Krishna.